The first thing you always need to know whenever you're looking at a problem with a graph in it is what the graph is showing us. And so the figure above they're telling us shows the graph of the function f. So what we're looking at right now is the original graph, our f of x graph, which means what we're getting out of here are the y values of the graph. And then what you do is go looking at what the problem's actually asking you. And as we come down here, what we're going to find is we're being asked to find several different limits. Each one of these, because they want us to tell them which of these statements are true. So we've got three different limits going on, and we just have to basically use the graph up above to evaluate those limits. So the first one here, number 1, is asking us to find the limit as x approaches 0 from the left. That's what that little negative sign is talking to us about there. So this is going to be a left-hand limit. And so what that means is we want to know as x approaches 0 from the left direction, what y value does it look like we're headed towards? So what I do on a problem like this is I always tell people is I draw a wall at whatever that x value is. So this situation we're talking about x equals 0. So either physically on a paper if I've got it in front of me or just mentally I'm drawing a wall right there. And I want to know what y value does it look like my graph is going to run into. So in this situation, the first time through, we're talking about a left-hand limit. So as I follow my graph from the left direction, what y value does it look like I'm going to run into? And the y value it looks like I'm going to run into right here is 2. So when you're doing limits, limits don't care about open circles or closed dots. They only care what does it look like I'm headed towards. So in this situation, it looks like I'm headed towards a y value that is equal to 2. Well, I got an answer out there, which means my limit does exist. So I know for sure that number 1 here is a true statement. Going on to the next one, number 2, is saying the limit as x approaches 0, and then they put that little plus sign up there. And when they put the plus sign up there, what they're asking us about in that situation is a right-hand limit. And so this problem wants to know what is the limit as x approaches 0, this time coming in from the right hand side, from the right direction. What y value does it look like I'm headed towards? It's asking us to go as x equals 0, so I already have the wall drawn in there for me. Now I just need to see what's happening as I follow my graph from the right hand direction. So from the right hand direction, it looks like I'm headed towards I would hit the wall right here at a y value of 1. So my right-hand limit on this would be a y equals 1. So I got an answer out. That tells me that my limit, my right-hand limit exists, and therefore I know that number 2 is also true. Then the last piece of the puzzle here is asking us to find the limit as x approaches 0, and you'll notice that there's no plus or minus here. And so what that's wanting to know is an overall limit. The overall limit, to answer that question, what you have to do is you have to say to yourself, does my left-hand limit equal my right-hand limit? That's the question you have to answer. If the answer is yes, if the left-hand limit does equal the right-hand limit, if those two things are approaching the same value, then the overall is the same answer. If they're both headed to 3, then the answer is 3. The overall has that same value. If the answer is no, if my left-hand limit maybe is headed down here and my right-hand limit's headed there, if those two things are not equal to each other, then in that situation, the overall, they just kind of use shorthand notation, does not exist. DNE does not exist. So I've already kind of done the heavy lifting to get the answer for this. The first thing I want to know is what does my left-hand limit equal? Well, my left-hand limit I got out here. My left-hand limit was 2. The next thing I know is what does my right-hand limit equal? Well, my right-hand limit I got out here, and that is 1. And what I see now when I put those two things together is that my left-hand limit does not equal my right-hand limit. And so this tells me that my overall limit does not exist. And so they're telling me it does exist, so that's not true. So that is a false statement. And so in the end here, when we're looking for the ones that are true, the only ones that are true are number 1 and number 2. And so our answer would be option C. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe. And also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.